I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
Lorne Armstrong. It is March 14th, 2023. Now, you probably won't get to my videos until you're close to death. There are people in the community much more popular, have better content. You're probably listening to them right now because they are funnier. And you probably can't stand the fact that they're making good jokes at your expense. Believe it or not, we are trying to help you. How can you not listen to these calls and some of the most insightful thoughts, comments that you will hear about your life? How can you not listen to those and say, hey, there's a lot of truth in there? We're going to talk about your whole I wasn't in the right frame of mind excuse. Lord, I'm going to educate you on something. I am. Not being in the right frame of mind is something you can say for every single criminal out there. And what that actually means, what you're saying without even knowing you're saying it, is that I didn't listen to the part of my brain that was telling me, I know you want to do this because you did want to do it. You did. I want to do this and I'm going to do it, but I know it's wrong. And when criminals get caught, when people get caught, they immediately say, I knew I shouldn't have done that. You knew there was a chance to get caught. And that is what I knew I shouldn't have done that means. Kids who get on their bike and launch off a ramp and they crash. I knew it was dangerous. I shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have stolen that money. I knew I was going to get caught. Before you can change, you have to grasp that concept. Nobody's perfect, Lorne. You are right. Well, we didn't make the decision that you made, but we have made bad decisions before. I was in the Marine Corps. Distinguished service, honors, awards, Navy commendation, received it all. I took pride in what I did. Even though I didn't want to do some of it, I did it anyway. This distinguished service Marine, we get assigned mess hall, chow hall duty. Pretty much active duty across the board gets assigned to help in the chow hall, prep the food, whatever. We had to pack lunches for people out in the field. We knocked over one of the giant tray holders. There were probably about 50 breakfasts in there. It had like a banana and something else. Well, we knocked it over and we squished the bananas in there. Rather than do all of them again, that would have taken 30 minutes, we decided we'd send them out anyway. Needless to say, we were standing in front of the first sergeant, explaining ourselves. I was embarrassed. I was afraid I was going to get in massive trouble, the way he was yelling at us, and then we were done, Lorne. And I moved on, and I learned from that. I'm like, you know what? Next time, don't be lazy. You haven't learned. And most of us think you would reoffend. Offenders tell themselves, you know what, I would never do that again. I never would. Think of all the times you promised these catfish women you would never do something again. And you did it again immediately. You excuse your behavior because you're pissed off, because you're angry. You use that for everything you get busted on. Yeah, well, you. And you know you do that, Lorne. You know what your faults are, but you tell people, yeah, I know I make those mistakes. You know, I know. I'm working on it. Getting there little by little, so I don't want you to lose faith in me. Lorne, you say that way too much, and you try to use your own reaction. You choose how you react. I choose how I react. There is someone at work I should rage at every day, but I don't, because I know that's how they act. I know the situation is what it is, so I expect it. And if you expect something, you shouldn't get mad over it. You don't have the right to get mad over it. You talk to these catfish women because deep down, you know you can't get a real woman. Let's be honest. Okay, stop for a second, calm yourself down, and let's be honest. I want you to hear this truth bomb. Your hygiene is terrible. You look the way you look. You dress the way you dress. You are massively in debt. I know that sucks to think about, but you are massively in debt. You live in a trailer that is falling around you, falling down around you, buddy. You don't have a future, you don't have any prospects, you don't have a job, you're in your 50s, you look much older than that. You cope. You convince yourself that I don't need these catfish women. I could go out and get any woman I wanted. Lorne, a normal person would never answer the phone again. They would go out and get a real woman. Because you're not getting any kind of sexual gratification from these catfish women. Not really. You've come to accept your situation. You've come to a point in your life where maybe you're just too comfortable where you are. You've gotten used to not working. You've gotten used to doing whatever Lorne wants to do instead of whatever he needs to do. You talk about a hard life. You talk about your mom like she's a hero. She was raising how many kids, Lorne? And you talk about sometimes she had to work more than one job or whatever else she had to do. Lorne, there are people out there in better situations than you are that are working 2 or 3 jobs because that's what they need to do to survive. You won't do that though. You want one job that's going to pay you way more than you are worth. We tried to sit back one day and figure out what skills you had and why you couldn't hold a job. Lorne, you don't have anything valuable to anyone out there that they couldn't hire somebody right off the street. That charge that you have has become your security blanket. Everything in your life that's bad, the fact that you can't hold a job, the fact that you're angry all the time, the fact that your life turned out the way it did, it's all NBC and perverted justice, and that's why you're in the situation you are now. You come up with excuses. You hear surface things, but you don't research it. You don't dig into it. Whatever you're told, that's kind of it, man. You stick right with it. And I'm going to ask you again, and I need you to hear this. Ask yourself, would Xavier Von Erck, who moved on from perverted justice the exact moment that they had a disagreement on how the company should be run, which happens in every company, Lorne. You have 2 people with a different vision for what they want to do, and the one that doesn't agree with it leaves. That was it for him. He never once dipped his toe back into that arena. He didn't come back. He didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on you, a guy who has no money, no job, no prospects, no happy life, no future, living in a trailer in the middle of a city that has 1,100 people in it. Do you really, honestly believe that this guy is going to waste his life trying to make the miserable life you have even more miserable? I don't know where you got your information from, but it's false. And I can assure you that Grady Stumbo and all those other people you said that took a bribe, you probably heard somebody mention that. Lorne, that would be one of the biggest scandals in the history of Kentucky. And their money is audited, and any irregularity is flagged. He was a high-profile figure, Lorne. People watched him like a hawk. His enemies, his supporters. In that arena, people are always trying to get a leg up. And if you don't keep your nose clean, you're gone, especially in this state. The entirety of your defense is based on conspiracy theories. Lorne, I assure you, probation and parole would love nothing more than to wash their hands of you. You haven't progressed. Nothing they've done has helped. You only quit drinking because it meant going back to prison. They don't want to keep you. They want you gone. They don't make money. As a matter of fact, some of them probably get in trouble because they have people like you who don't make any progress. And when they are evaluated on their performance, or at least how they're looked at by their peers, like, oh, you got that Armstrong guy. Why hasn't he done this? Why hasn't he done that? They are there to get you out of there, to help you. They are also there, number one priority, to protect society. They are not there to protect you from catfish women. They are trying to get you to smarten up and not answer the phone. That's something that normal people understand. It's something we would never do. But you do it because there's nothing else you have in your life. When that phone stops ringing, when you can't call these women anymore, Lorne, you're going to fall into a deep, dark depression. A real depression. Not, I'm upset because I got busted by NBC. Not that. Not that. Not the fact that you tried to groom a child and you've had real victims in the past. Not that. Not the fact that you sexualized your nieces. Lorne, this is all on you. You are the architect of your own demise. And you will never change until you realize that. There are no grand conspiracy theories for a Cornville redneck who has no money, nothing to offer. Again, no prospects, no future, no wife, no children. They are not going to waste their time. All they want is you. A person who can't learn, a troublesome person, someone who drives them crazy, someone who hears one thing that they want to hear and they base their entire defense on it. Like a guidance counselor telling you that, well, other people have done some things too, Lorne, and you stopped right there. You didn't hear anything else. That's all you needed to hear. And that's not healthy. And you're going to remain the Lorne Armstrong that you are today. Womanless, jobless, prospectless, until you take responsibility, real responsibility, until you reflect on your life and say, look at all these decisions I made. Look at what I did. Instead of blaming everyone else, I chose to do that. I chose to react. I could have taken vengeance on so many people, Lorne, but revenge is a game you can't win. Blaming other people for your failures is the biggest loss, is the biggest failure. You are willing to say whatever it takes to try to get one of these women that you know are catfishing you to come out and stay with you. You're willing to accept responsibility when you think it's going to get you sympathy. With Debbie, who in real life you would never have a prayer with, you thought you had a prayer with. These beautiful women, Ramona, even Winnie, they could go out and get anybody they wanted. See, if you realize that, even if they weren't catfish, there are going to be guys in their area that are much more attractive, financially appealing in terms of looks, their situation. Ambition is something that women find attractive, and you don't have any. You have dreams, fantasies, but that's not ambition. You don't have a plan, a real plan. You don't have anybody there should be somebody, Lorne, helping you learn about money. You don't know about money, but you'll say you do. Lorne, you will say you know about money and you don't need anybody's help. I know about money, septic business, blah, blah, blah. The best time in your life, the way you describe it, would be the worst time in a lot of our lives. There is a disconnect somewhere between your perception of reality and what actually is. Because you live in that small town of Cornville, because you don't live in a big city where you can look around and see what success looks like, what successful people look like, real successful people, what people your age have and do, and what they look like. It's like you've given up. You've just completely given up. And you're fine with that. And that is not okay. There should be a plan to get you off probation and parole, to get your life in order, to complete all the requirements, to get a job, to show that you're not going to have a whole bunch of time on your hands where you just sit around and you're able to think about everything. The fact that you still think you need to be on the internet is scary. Someone like you need to stay as far away as you can from the internet. You're going to be catfished. You're going to get into unnecessary fights. You're going to spend the rest of your life trying to defend yourself against people like myself and others who can see what you apparently cannot. You need to stop answering the phone, and you need to get out and try to get on with your life. I'm not saying go out and meet women. I wouldn't wish you on any woman. Go to church. Find a place that will accept you. Learn. Better yourself. Get 1, 2 jobs. Don't sit around all day doing whatever Lorne wants. Doing what you need to do would be much better for you, Lorne. And I'm going to leave you with this. The day you tell yourself the truth, when you are honest, when you say things that you know, looking at yourself, looking within, that may hurt and sting, when you're able to do that, you will move forward. But until then, Lorne, you're stuck spinning your wheels, never making any progress, going backwards. That's my open letter to you, Lorne. March 14th, 2023.
Hang on, I can't even catch my breath. Hang on.
Do something.